story this morning, our time for all ages, is called The Perfect Club by a minister who's now deceased, beloved minister, Ken Sawyer, who led the Ministers Association and served a church for over 30 years, and who once said, when I asked him about call on the 50th anniversary of his ministry, that ministry wasn't a calling, that was too hoity-toity, that it was a job, and every day we show up and we do our best, and we go home, and we're grateful for what we were able to do. I hold that out as a metaphor for all of us in our lives and our callings. There was a boy named Ethan, and he was feeling lonely. Ethan was lonely because he didn't get to spend enough time with other kids. There were other kids in his neighborhood, like Kavita and Devin and Akiko and Matthias and Lorena, but they never seemed to get together. So Ethan decided to form a club. Ethan called Kavita and Devin and Akiko and Matthias and invited them over to his house. He didn't invite Lorena because once she gave a party and forgot to invite him. And she said she was sorry afterwards, but Ethan wasn't going to forgive her for that. The other kids came over, and Ethan told them,
"We should have a club. In fact, we should have the perfect club. That's what we'll call it, the perfect club."
"That sounds good," said Akiko. "Sure," said Devin, "only how do you have a perfect club?"
"That's easy. Everybody has to do everything just right. As long as we're all perfect, our perfect club will be perfect, and we can hang out together and do things together and have fun together at all the time. Like now, we can go outside and kick the ball around."
And that went great, except that after a while, Matthias got frustrated and angrily kicked the ball into the street. After that, he calmed down and felt bad, and he said he was sorry, but Ethan said he was out of the perfect club and he would have to leave. Matthias went across to Lorena's house. You remember Lorena? She wasn't in the perfect club because she once forgot an invitation. Well, she was home working on a fun art project, and Matthias worked on it too.
Meanwhile, back at Ethan's, the perfect club was having fun too, except that when Akiko missed a kick and fell down, Kavita laughed at her. When Kavita saw that she'd hurt Akiko's feelings, she felt bad and she said she was sorry. But Ethan said she was out of the perfect club and she'd have to leave. So she went across the street to Lorena's house too. And then Akiko said it wasn't her fault that she fell down. It was because Devin was such a clumsy fool that he tripped her. But when she heard her own words, they sounded mean and she felt bad and she said she was sorry. But, well, you know the rest. Akiko ended up at Lorena's house too.
The perfect club was getting pretty small. There was Ethan, the founding leader, and Devin. But Devin was still glad to be part of the club because it meant he got to kick the soccer ball around. And he played and played and played until Ethan said maybe it was time to let him have a turn. Devin said, "Yeah, sure, in a minute," and went on doing all the kicking himself.
Well, Ethan did not want to lose the only other member of the perfect club, so he tried very hard not to notice that Devin was not sharing. But then Devin kicked the ball hard into Ethan's stomach. Devin said he didn't mean to, and he was sorry. But Ethan said,
"You're out of the perfect club."
And Devin had to leave.
Devin went across the street to Lorena's house. He could hear a bunch of friends inside having fun. At least all the people who weren't perfect were out of the perfect club. And only Ethan was in it.
Ethan said, "The trouble is, I'm lonely again."
But Ethan realized that he was alone because he didn't always do the right thing either. Every time someone messed up, he had not been kind or understanding or patient or forgiving. He realized he didn't belong in the perfect club either.
So Ethan went across the street to Lorena's house and said he was sorry. And Devin, Akiko, Matias, Kavita, and Lorena forgave him right away.
After that, they formed another club. It wasn't perfect because none of them was perfect, but it was a very nice club. They all said sorry when they messed up, and they always forgave each other. They hung out together and had fun together. And best of all, they were never lonely. Here ends our story.